What if I told you that the reason your lemon plant refuses to grow has nothing to do with bad luck or a lack of fertilizer? Imagine looking at your lemon plant every single day, hoping to see fresh green leaves, healthy branches, beautiful flowers, or even one tiny fruit, only to find that nothing has changed. Weeks pass, then months, and your plant still looks weak, lifeless, and stuck in the same condition. You water it carefully, try different fertilizers, replace the soil, move the pot to sunnier locations, and even search online for solutions, yet nothing seems to work. The leaves slowly lose their rich green color. Some branches become dry and brittle, and the entire plant appears as if it has simply given up. If this sounds familiar, don't worry, because I faced the exact same frustrating situation. Instead of throwing my struggling lemon plant away, I decided to understand what was really happening beneath the surface. And after following a simple but effective recovery process, I watched it transform from a weak, almost lifeless plant into one that was actively producing fresh shoots and healthy new growth. In this video, I'll guide you through every step I followed so you can give your own lemon plant a second chance. And make sure you stay with me until the very end, because I'll also reveal one powerful growth booster that completely changed the outcome in just a few days. Before trying to fix the problem, it's important to understand why lemon plants stop growing in the first place. Most gardeners believe that whenever a plant becomes weak, adding more fertilizer will solve everything. But in reality, that's only a small part of the story. A lemon plant growing in a pot lives in a completely different environment compared to one growing naturally in the ground. In open soil, the roots have endless space to spread, absorb moisture, collect nutrients, and breathe properly. Inside a container, however, the roots are confined to a very limited space. As time passes, the soil gradually becomes compacted, nutrients are exhausted, drainage becomes poor, oxygen struggles to reach the roots, and beneficial microorganisms slowly disappear. Eventually, the root system becomes stressed, crowded, and unable to function efficiently. When this happens, the plant shifts into survival mode. Instead of producing fresh branches, flowers, and fruit, it focuses only on staying alive. This is why many lemon plants remain unchanged for months, even though they receive regular watering and fertilizer. The problem isn't always that the plant lacks nutrients. The real issue is that its natural growth system has slowed down. The roots can't absorb nutrients efficiently, cell development becomes sluggish, and the plant's internal growth signals weaken dramatically. Before applying any treatment, take a close look at your plant and identify the warning signs. The first and most obvious sign is little or no new growth. If you haven't noticed fresh shoots or tiny leaves appearing for weeks, your plant is trying to tell you that something isn't right. The second warning sign is dry or completely dead branches. You can perform a simple scratch test by gently scratching the bark with your fingernail. If the layer underneath is green, the branch is alive, but if it's brown, dry, and lifeless, that branch is dead and should be removed. Another common symptom is the absence of flowers or flowers that fall before developing into fruit. Healthy lemon plants naturally bloom when conditions are right, so poor flowering usually points towards stress, nutritional imbalance, or weakened growth hormones. Next, examine the soil itself. If pressing your finger into the soil feels like pushing against hard concrete, your roots are struggling to breathe. Compacted soil prevents water from soaking in evenly, blocks airflow, and stops nutrients from reaching the root zone where they're needed most. Finally, pay attention to the leaves. Healthy lemon leaves should display a rich, vibrant green color. If they're turning pale or yellow, it's often a sign that the roots can no longer absorb nutrients effectively, even if those nutrients are already present in the soil. Once I recognized these warning signs on my own plant, I knew it needed much more than another dose of fertilizer. So I began the recovery process step by step. The first thing I did was choose a struggling lemon plant that had clearly stopped thriving. Its growth had almost completely stalled. There were no fresh shoots, no flowers, and several branches appeared unhealthy. Rather than selecting a perfect plant, I intentionally chose one that looked neglected because I wanted to prove that even plants in poor condition can make an incredible comeback with the right care. My first real task was removing every dead branch from the plant. Many gardeners hesitate to prune because they're afraid of cutting the wrong branches, but leaving dead what attached actually wastes the plant's energy. With the soil now loosened and ready to support healthy root activity, The next step was to rebuild the soil itself rather than simply feeding the plant. This is where many gardeners make a costly mistake because they rely only on chemical fertilizers, expecting instant results. While fertilizers can certainly provide nutrients, they don't repair tired, lifeless soil. Instead, I spread a generous layer of high-quality organic compost across the entire surface of the pot and gently mixed it into the loosened topsoil. Organic compost does much more than feed the plant. It feeds the living ecosystem beneath the surface. It encourages beneficial bacteria and fungi to multiply, improves soil texture, increases moisture retention without causing waterlogging, enhances drainage, and slowly releases essential nutrients over time. These natural improvements create an environment where roots can finally recover and function the way they were designed to. Once the compost had been incorporated into the soil, I gave the plant a slow, deep watering until water flowed freely from the drainage holes at the bottom of the pot. This wasn't just ordinary watering. It helped settle the compost into place, activated microbial life within the soil, rehydrated stressed roots, and ensured that moisture reached every layer of the root zone instead of only wetting the surface. At this point, the plant had already received everything it needed to begin recovering naturally. But there was one final step that dramatically accelerated the entire process. This was the growth stimulant that completely transformed my lemon plant. It's important to understand that a biostimulant is not the same as a fertilizer. Fertilizers provide nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, but biostimulants work in a completely different way. Rather than feeding the plant directly, they stimulate the plant's own biological processes, encouraging stronger root development, better nutrient absorption, faster cell growth, improved stress tolerance, and healthier flowering. You can think of fertilizer as food, while a biostimulant acts like a signal that tells the plant how to use that food more efficiently. The product I used contained several powerful ingredients, each contributing to the plant's recovery in a unique way. One of the most important ingredients was gibberellins, natural plant hormones that encourage stem elongation, fresh shoot development, and flowering. When a lemon plant has remained dormant for a long time, its natural growth signals often become weak, and gibberellins help reactivate those signals, encouraging the plant to start growing again. The formula also contained amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins. A stressed plant struggles to produce enough amino acids on its own, so supplying them directly reduces the plant's workload and allows it to recover more quickly while improving nutrient absorption at the same time. Vitamins, especially vitamin B1, played another valuable role by helping the roots recover from stress caused by pruning, compacted soil, or poor growing conditions. Healthy roots are the foundation of every healthy plant, and stronger roots always lead to stronger top growth. Cytokinins were another important component because they stimulate cell division, encourage the formation of new shoots, and help leaves stay green and healthy for longer instead of aging prematurely. Auxins focused mainly on root development, promoting stronger and more extensive root systems capable of supporting vigorous growth above the soil. Finally, naturally occurring peptides acted as internal messengers, improving nutrient transport throughout the plant while strengthening its natural defense and recovery systems. Together, these ingredients worked as a complete biological support system rather than simply supplying extra nutrients. For the application, I carefully measured 5 milliliters of the biostimulant and mixed it thoroughly into 2 liters of clean water, always following the manufacturer's recommended dosage because using more than instructed does not produce better results and may actually create hormonal imbalances. Using a clean hand sprayer, I covered every part of the plant, spraying both the upper and lower surfaces of the leaves since the undersides contain stomata that absorb the solution more effectively. I also sprayed the stems, growing tips, and lightly misted the soil surface to ensure the entire plant benefited from the treatment. To achieve the best results, I applied the spray early in the morning when temperatures were cool and evaporation was minimal, allowing the plant enough time to absorb the solution before the stronger afternoon sun arrived. Since I still had some mixture left after treating the lemon plant, I used the remaining solution on my other fruit plants as well, allowing them to benefit from the same growth-promoting ingredients. Then came the most rewarding part of the entire process. Within only a few days, the changes became impossible to ignore. Tiny green shoots began appearing from branches that had shown no activity for months. Fresh leaves started unfolding. Existing foliage looked greener and healthier, and the entire plant developed a stronger, more vibrant appearance. Instead of looking weak and exhausted, it finally looked alive again. This dramatic improvement wasn't the result of one miracle product alone. It happened because every step supported the next one. Removing dead branches redirected the plant's energy toward healthy growth. Loosening the soil restored airflow and water movement around the roots. Organic compost rebuilt the soil's natural health. Deep watering activated everything beneath the surface. Finally, the biostimulant encouraged the plant's own biological systems to begin growing again with renewed strength. Each step worked together, creating a powerful chain reaction that no single treatment could have achieved on its own. If your own lemon plant has stopped growing, don't lose hope or assume it's beyond saving. In many cases, the problem isn't permanent. It simply needs the right combination of care delivered in the proper sequence. Follow these steps patiently, give your plant time to respond, and you'll be amazed at how quickly nature begins to reward your efforts. Healthy plants aren't created overnight, but with consistent care, the right techniques, and a little patience, even a struggling lemon plant can return to producing vigorous growth, beautiful flowers, and eventually delicious homegrown lemons. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to support the channel by subscribing, leaving a comment about your own gardening experience, and sharing this video with fellow gardeners so more people can bring their struggling lemon plants back to life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next gardening adventure.